Michael's hand froze on the cable. It had been sliced clean through. Not frayed from wear, not accidentally damaged, cut, deliberately, with something sharp. 60 seconds until curtain, no microphones, no time to fix them. And in the front row, the Riverside Rockets were smiling. May of 1970. Roosevelt High School, Gary, Indiana. The spring showcase wasn't just another talent show. 3 radio DJs from WGRY, Northwest Indiana's biggest station, were judging. The winner got airplay, real airplay. For the Jackson 5, 3 months after signing with Motown but still waiting for their first single to drop, this was everything. By 6 o'clock, 400 people packed the gymnasium. The Riverside Rockets had claimed the front row. 5 guys, ages 16 to 18, matching jackets with their group names stitched across the back. Their lead singer, Marcus Webb, had a voice that could fill a room. He kept turning around to look backstage, whispering to his crew. They'd smirk, nod, like they knew something nobody else did. Michael noticed. He was 11 years old, sitting backstage with his eyes closed, running through the choreography in his mind, every step, every spin. His brothers thought he was nervous. He wasn't. He was preparing. Backstage was chaos. 12 acts, 40 performers. The Jackson 5 had staked out a corner near the stage entrance. Jackie was stretching. Tito was tuning his guitar. Jermaine was doing vocal warm-ups. Marlon, only 8, was copying everything his older brothers did. "Jackson, 5, you're up in 10, Mrs. Patterson called out. She was the stage coordinator, a teacher who looked like she'd been running these showcases for 20 years. Jackie stood up. "Let's do mic check." They walked to the stage entrance. 5 microphone stands in a line. Cables running to the sound mixer. Standard setup. It had worked for every act that night. Michael stepped up to his microphone, tapped it twice, nothing. He frowned, tapped it again, still nothing. Tito tried his, dead. Jackie tried his, dead. All 5 microphones. Silent. "Mrs. Patterson," Jackie said, edge in his voice, "the mics aren't working." Mrs. Patterson hurried over, started flipping switches. They were working 10 minutes ago. Michael was already moving. He followed the cables toward the mixer. 15 feet back, in the shadows, the cables coiled together. He crouched down, lifted the top cable. Every single one had been cut. Not frayed, not pulled loose. Cut. Someone had taken scissors or a knife and deliberately destroyed every cable they needed. "Someone cut them," Michael said flatly. Mrs. Patterson's face went white. Jackie and Tito looked over his shoulder. They saw the cables. They understood immediately. "The Rockets," Tito said quietly. Mrs. Patterson shook her head. 70 seconds until your intro. We'd need to run new cables, reconnect everything. There's no way." "So, we're done," Jermaine said, voice hollow. Michael stood up slowly. He looked at the cut cables, then at his brothers, then through the curtain gap at Marcus Webb's smile. One look, one breath, one decision. "We're not done," Michael said. Jackie turned. "Michael, we can't perform without... We don't need them." The room went quiet. What Michael was suggesting wasn't just bold, it was borderline insane. They'd rehearsed with microphones. Their choreography was built around mic stands. Going out there without any sound system meant throwing away everything they'd planned. But Michael had already figured it out. The problem wasn't the cables. The problem was thinking they needed the cables. "We go a cappella," Michael said. "No mics, no backing track. We make the rhythm with our hands and feet. We get the audience to clap with us." Mrs. Patterson looked doubtful, but 45 seconds remained. "Are you sure?" Michael turned to his brothers. "We've done this 100 times at home. We don't need microphones. We don't need anything except our voices. Trust me." Jackie saw that thing Michael had. That certainty when it came to performing, that compass that never pointed wrong. "All right," Jackie said. "We do it." 30 seconds. They moved behind the curtain, no microphones, no stands. Just 5 brothers breathing together, about to do something none of them had ever done before. Michael's heart was pounding, but his mind was clear. He could hear the song, feel the rhythm, see exactly how this would work. Mrs. Patterson walked out. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Jackson 5, from right here in Gary, Indiana." The curtain opened. 400 people applauded. In the front row, Marcus Webb was still smiling. The Jackson 5 walked out. No microphones, no instruments, just 5 kids under the lights. The applause faded. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Where was their equipment? Michael stepped forward. He projected his voice the way his father had taught him. Loud, clear. "Something happened to our microphones backstage," Michael said. The gymnasium went silent. "So tonight we're going to need your help." Marcus Webb's smile disappeared. Michael started clapping. A simple rhythm. 4 beats. His brothers joined in. "Come on," Michael called out. "Just like this." For 2 seconds, nobody moved. Then someone in the back started clapping. Then a whole row, then half the gymnasium, 400 people, one rhythm, filling the space where the backing track should have been. And then Michael started singing. No microphone, no effects, just his voice, raw and impossibly powerful for an 11-year-old. The melody was "I Want You Back," stripped down, rebuilt from nothing. His brothers layered harmonies around him. Tito stomped a bass line. Jackie added counter-rhythm. Jermaine filled the gaps. The gymnasium wasn't just watching, they were inside the performance. Part of it. The clapping became percussion. The stomping became bass. The energy wasn't coming from speakers. It was coming from 400 human beings creating music together. This wasn't improvisation. This was precision under impossible pressure. Every harmony locked perfectly. Every rhythm hit exactly where it needed to. Michael was conducting without moving his hands, adjusting with tiny glances his brothers understood instantly. 30 seconds into the performance, Marcus Webb stopped smiling. 60 seconds in, people in the back were standing. 90 seconds in, the entire gymnasium was on its feet. Michael hit the bridge and his voice soared. No microphone to clip the high notes. No speakers to distort the sound. Just pure voice filling every corner of that gym, reaching the back wall and bouncing back stronger. He held the final note. Let it breathe. Let it fade into silence. Complete silence. For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. And then the place exploded. The applause was like thunder. People screaming, stomping their feet. Teachers clapping so hard their hands had to hurt. The 3 judges were shaking their heads in disbelief. Mrs. Patterson stood in the wings with both hands over her mouth. In the front row, the Riverside Rockets sat frozen. Marcus Webb's face was stone. The Jackson 5 stood center stage, breathing hard, sweat running down their faces, the biggest smiles of their lives breaking across their faces. They had done it. Not despite the sabotage, because of it. Michael looked directly at Marcus Webb. Didn't say a word, didn't need to. The look said everything. Backstage, after 3 encores, the Jackson 5 collapsed onto folding chairs. Their hands were sore from clapping. Their voices were raw. But they were laughing. That deep, exhausted laughter that comes from surviving something impossible. Mrs. Patterson came backstage carrying the first-place trophy before the judges had even announced it. I don't even have words for what that was. Joe Jackson had been watching from the back. He finally allowed himself a smile. Small, but real. 20 minutes later, the radio DJs came backstage. One of them, Tony Rizzo, pulled Michael aside. "Kid, how did you know that would work?" Michael shrugged. "I didn't know, but I knew we couldn't just let them win by doing nothing." Tony looked at this 11-year-old kid like he was seeing something he'd never seen before. "I've watched professional acts with years of experience completely fall apart over way less. You just turned a complete disaster into the best performance of this entire competition. You're ready for stages bigger than this, for pressure bigger than this." Years later, a music journalist found a note in Motown's archives dated May of 1970. It mentioned a high school talent show at Roosevelt High, where the Jackson kid turned a technical failure into a master class in performing. The note ended with one line, underlined twice. "Sign them. Now." But that night, Michael Jackson sat on a folding chair backstage, legs swinging because his feet didn't quite touch the floor, replaying the performance in his head. Not the applause, not the trophy, the music, the way the harmonies had locked together without any amplification, the way the audience had become part of the rhythm section, the way pure human sound could be more powerful than any speaker system. He wasn't thinking about the Riverside Rockets anymore. Wasn't thinking about the cut cables. He was already thinking about the next performance, about what they could do differently. Jackie walked over. "That was all you, man. We wouldn't have made it without you making that call." Michael looked up, shrugged. "We all made it. That's how it works." But they both knew the truth. When those cables were cut and the clock was ticking and everyone else was ready to quit, it was Michael who said no. Michael who saw a way forward. Michael who turned disaster into opportunity in under 90 seconds. That's not something you can teach. That's something you either have or you don't. And Michael had it.